Missouri State Senator Eric Burlison joining us live in studio now here on Morning Line at 93.3 and AM 560 KWTO. Thanks for getting up with us as you go out and about here on another bit of a biting late October day. Eric, welcome to the show. Thanks for being back.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and I'm glad to see you in God's country in Southwest Missouri.
You know
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
You
That's
know it.
right.
The buckle on the Bible belt. That's for sure, as they say, as I hear a lot of folks say down here, Eric. Eric, isn't it true that Republicans have truly become the open, independent thinking big tent party in recent years? And Democrats, if you don't toe the line on every single thing that they want, you're not welcome there.
Yeah, I think more than anything, I think the Republican Party has become the party that respects the rule of law. We're the party that wants to play by the rules, but yet I think the left has decided they can't win by the rules, so break them and change them just to get the outcome they want. And so I think that's what's defining the two parties today. You've got one party that says, whatever the rules are, let us know what the rules are. We're going to play by the rules. And you have another one that says, nope, it doesn't matter what the rules are. We demand an outcome.
Yeah, Eric, let's talk about some of these threats of some of these rule-changing threats they're making. Does it terrify? How much does it terrify you that they are saying that if they win the White House and they win the U.S. Senate back, that they're going to abolish the Electoral College and pack the Supreme Court with a bunch of activist judges?
Right. Yeah, it's insane to think about that we've had 9 justices for the historic most of the history of the United States, right? Mm-hmm. So, and the thought that they would go in and start making that a political matter, just because they don't like the fact that it happened, that they lost a justice, during a Republican presidential's candidate's watch.
Yeah, and Eric, that will absolutely, if they do get away with it, if they proceed with it and get away with it, if they accomplish it, it absolutely will affect folks here in Springfield, won't it?
Yes, absolutely. And to segue, if I could,
sure,
it's similar in nature to what they've done with Amendment 3. Okay,
yes.
So
let's talk about Amendment 3.
Because so folks understand, right now you're seeing the left's ads telling you to vote no and saying that it was designed in such a way that the legislature put a pretty package on it. Mm-hmm. What they're telling you is exactly what they did 2 years ago. So the history on this is that 2 years ago, they funded, and you just look at how much money they've spent on this.
Millions of dollars.
So ask yourself, where's that coming from? That's not coming from, Joe Blow, or John Doe here in Missouri.
Hardly a penny.
There's no grassroots money. This is all coming from big, dark money funds out of state. And it's all designed to change the game in Missouri. So they can't win elections under the current rules today. They can't win them under the way that district lines are drawn today. So what they did 2 years ago is they put on the ballot this measure that dramatically changed the way district lines are going to be drawn, but they wrapped it in this wonderful package that said, hey, we're going to get rid of lobbyist gifts, and
right.
we're going to lower contributions to these disgusting lawmakers. Well, the voters approved it because when you look at the ballot language, it was really good, right? I mean, it didn't talk about changing the lines. It talked about
ethics and campaign finance and lobbyist reform.
Right. The ballot language said nothing about drawing the lines, redrawing the district lines. So the only way to fix that was to take the exact same content that they had passed with all the subject matters and then change the district lines back and put that before the voters again. And that's what the legislature is attempting to do. The only problem is we don't have the dark money that they do.
Yes.
We don't have the, this huge amount of
You're the people's
PAC
representatives,
money.
not the dark money representatives, not the Soros-funded PAC representatives.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, we're just trying to put right what has been put wrong and put it back to the way that the game has been played for the vast majority of the history of the state of Missouri.
Yeah, every 10 years, Eric, we do redistricting in the state, and every 10 years going back, I don't know how many decades, we've done it the exact same way, and largely it's ended up in the courts, and a group of judges who have been appointed by Republican and Democratic governors have drawn the lines, and they've drawn the lines according to the rules that were secured in our legal system up until the present, which was based on compactness of districts and communities of interest and contiguous lines. Now, under Clean Missouri, which was passed 2 years ago, we're going to go into this willy-nilly happenstance drawing of lines based on fairness of districts. We don't care where the districts are. We don't care about the makeup of the districts in general. So we could potentially draw these very weird spider web type lines, these barbell districts, these hook and line districts. So, Eric, you literally could end up with state representatives here in Springfield who may live up in Lebanon or up in Jeff City or Columbia, and they could draw these very bizarre districts under Clean Missouri. That's why we need to vote yes on Amendment 3.
Right. And what breaks my heart is that when I look at my Senate district, it really represents some of these strong communities, right? So I've got Nixa and Ozark and Willard, right?
And with Clever
and Clever, and I could keep going. Stratford and Rogersville, and
we're gonna name every city in a second. Yeah.
But each one of those amazing communities have got their own state representative who represents them.
Who generally lives in that community,
right? So you can say Nixa, that's Jared Taylor.
Right.
I can say Ozark, that's Lynn Morris, right? And so I can those people have got somebody that represents them. But under this new, if voters, if you don't vote yes on this,
right,
you're going to find yourself not having a representative. You're going to have somebody that's straddling you, but also has got a heavy part of their representation in downtown Springfield or Branson, right? So a community is not going to have, they're going to be these spaghetti noodle shaped districts because they would have to draw them that way in order to achieve the goal.
You're a touch younger than me, and we're of that generation where we've embraced technology, and you're a big Twitter-er, and you're on Twitter at Eric Burlison, and you utilize Facebook and Twitter and all the new social media very effectively. What should government do or not do, Eric, do you think, about this problem of big tech and their censorship of everything on the center-right side of the spectrum, it seems, these days? It's a tough issue. Yeah,
it is a tough issue. I'm for free speech. I'm for a platform being able to say whatever they want to say. But if you are going to filter, my view is if you're going to filter what's said, then you don't get to enjoy all of the benefits that the government has allowed for these open platforms, right? So they've allowed for platforms where you don't filter the content to say you're not liable for what's said on that content.
You get liability protections,
and so I think that I believe, and as much as I am not a fan of people's I'm not
you're a big litigation reformer,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they can have their cake and eat it too. If that makes sense.
So this may be a dumb question, but the FCC pretty much rules when it comes to radio and TV how we deal with politics.
That's true.
I mean, you have to have fairness, right? If I have one candidate on that's running on a Democrat, then I need to offer the same amount of time to the Republican. Why does the FCC not seem to have any control or say over social media?
That's a good, and I think that's the concept was they pitched themselves as an open platform, that they're not determining the content, right? They don't have control over. If this were a radio station where you weren't controlling who spoke, right, and just whoever called in
could have
the time, that would be one thing, right? But that's not the way this studio is. And so because of that, the FCC has regulatory authority, but that's what these social media platforms pitch themselves as. We're not controlling the content. The people are the content, so don't regulate us. So to me, they are trying to have their cake and eat it too, yes, and I don't think it works.
Eric, the self-proclaimed party of science, the Democratic Party, seems to be utilizing everything but as we continue to struggle to try to get through this pandemic.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happened, but somehow this has become a political issue,
which it should not be.
Right. And I think people ought to. There's a lot of things that ought to be done, but for some reason this has just become a way to tie in this with who's elected on the national level, and then find some way to use it as a blaming and shaming instrument. I really don't like the nature of people where they are turning this into a way to shame their neighbor.